Hey everybody, this is a layout that I am doing about a new, healthier lifestyle change. So I have a photo of me on a yoga mat and another one of a salad. I'm going to be using quite a few pieces here from the Echo Park Everyday Eclectic and Creative Agenda collections. And that blue background right there is the aqua background is from Everyday Eclectic, and it is the craft doily paper. There's a really cool doily on the background of that paper. And what I've decided to do is I'm going to do a grid layout here, and the reason I'm doing this is this was actually for a challenge at the Victoria Marie Facebook group for National Scrapbook Day, and her challenge was for us to scrap in a grid. So I cut that kind of multicolored chevron paper into a square, and that is from Everyday Eclectic, and it's the herringbone paper. And I'm trying to decide, I think I want the orange. There's quite a bit of orange in the salad, and there's some orange in the chevron paper that I want to bring out. So I kind of played around a little bit about which paper to use, a triangle or that more kind of wallpapery design orange, and I decide on that orange damask wallpaper kind of paper there. That is from Everyday Eclectic, and it's the hot air balloon paper because it does have a hot air balloon on the back. Then I decide I'm going to use this border sticker on the bottom to just give a little bit of grounding to the layout. It felt like it was kind of floating to me, which can happen with a grid, and sometimes I'm okay with that and sometimes I'm not. So that border sticker came from the Everyday Eclectic element stickers there. Alright, so now I'm kind of looking at how I'm going to journal, and I have a few things that I'm thinking about. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use. So I'm trying this 3x4 cut apart, and that came from Everyday Eclectic. I like the card quite a bit, but the thing I don't like about it is it's so bright pink, and that mat, the yoga mat, is so bright pink that what it's really doing is it's weighting, instead of the grid being more evenly balanced, the weight is so far to the left there. Now I also found this piece, and I'm sorry that went right by me. It's from either Everyday Eclectic or Creative Agenda. And I kind of liked that craft piece there, but that's not going to work. I'm trying a pink piece there, but it didn't work again because it was unbalancing the pink to the top. Now I found this piece here, and this one says reminder in case you forget, and that 3x4 cut apart is from the Creative Agenda collection, the 3x4 journaling card paper, and that's the paper I'm going to end up using. And I like that because it does use kind of it is a green, which that's exact green is kind of in the chevron paper there. It's not very prominent, but it is there. And so I'm using that in this layout, and then it'll balance a little bit of the green in the salad there. So that's the one I'm going to settle on, and I just put it on that journaling card. Then I inked my edges with my Memento Dewdrop ink in gray flannel, just to give a little bit of a definition, to separate them off of the background paper a little bit. I could have probably put those up on some sort of foam. I don't have the craft foam that everybody's using, but that would have been a good solution as well to give it a little bit more presence. Now I found this sticker that says every day is an adventure, and I really like that, and that's from the Creative Agenda element stickers, but it has, and I don't remember anymore what the sentiment under this said, but it didn't fit properly, so I found a little phrase that says keep it up from that same Creative Agenda element sticker. So it now reads every day is an adventure, keep it up, which works really well with a lifestyle change. I started doing yoga, and it's just really been awesome for me. And I guess I didn't realize how strength building it is, but it is not the easiest thing in the whole world, but I'm really, really enjoying it. So I put down that little banner sticker that says Small Victories on it, and that again is from Creative Agenda from the Element sticker sheet, and that is a nice sentiment again for a lifestyle change. I'm trying to figure out if I want to put something on the bottom there on the grounding element, and I'm going to decide not to do that actually. So now I have this Amy Tangerine puffy sticker sheet from the +1 collection. It's called Us, and I have a few pieces left on there, and I pulled off that orange feather and I put that on the journaling card there, and it doesn't really have any particular significance to this layout. It's just a little bit more orange and it's another element, and I really am working on using up that sticker sheet. I really want to get that finished up. Sorry. So now I am trying to figure out an alphabet to use here, and I looked at this is an Amy Tangerine alphabet here. I liked that it had kind of that bright greeny color to it because that appears in the chevron paper, but I didn't have enough of the letters that I needed in the darker green, and the other greens were a little bit too light to show up against the background. I also looked at a mint green, but that was too mint for the green in the paper and maybe even in the journaling card. So now I'm going to some of my pink alphas, trying to figure out if I have enough letters, if it's the right color. All of those things are figuring into my decision here. Right now I'm kind of looking at this glittery alphabet, but it's a little bit too kind of hot pink would be the best way to describe it. So what I do here is then I go and I find this pink alphabet, and it's a foam alpha, and it is the daiquiri font. I don't have a color here, it's just daiquiri. So I'm going to call this a new leaf, and then eventually I'm going to add something to it that's going to throw the balance off a little bit, but I actually kind of like it, and I'll explain that to you why in just a second, because I start out with it really kind of perfectly balanced. But if you look at my grid, that sticker to the right, that Every Day is an Adventure sticker, is throwing the balance of this layout. And I did that on purpose. I wanted to break it up, otherwise it almost becomes a little bit trite for me in this particular case. It's just everything is so contained, and I am definitely a clean line scrapper. You know that if you've watched any of my videos, but this was just a little bit too much, a little bit too clean, and not enough of sort of breaking out of the grid piece. And I do like to do that when I do grids sometimes, is to break out of it. Actually, I think more often than not, I put an element that goes outside of the grid a little bit. And here I'm just really I'm eyeballing how I'm lining up this grid using the other papers there, other blocks to line this up. And I'm leaving a lot more space at the top than at the bottom because I'm going to put my title right at the top there. And I knew that really almost from the beginning, that that's what I would do, is put that up at the top there. All right, so now I'm looking at that, and I am actually, this is so funny because right now I'm measuring it with a ruler to get it perfectly centered, and in the end, I'm going to break out of the grid. So that perfectly centered title isn't going to matter at all in the very end, in the end. And I do use wax paper here. It really, really helps me get my titles figured out. I can move things around pretty easily. I so admire scrapbookers who don't need to do that, but Sarah Swan comes to mind. She can make a title look awesome, and she doesn't. She just slaps it on there. It's amazing how she can get that. I, on the other hand, cannot do that. So I'm kind of lining those letters up. And sometimes the other thing I like about this, is if I think about putting my title in a straight line and it doesn't work, or I don't like it for some reason, I can always cut that waxed paper up, and then I can still move the title around. All right, so now we have it on there, and I'm going to play with this just a little bit because I didn't get it quite right. The horizontal line of the title isn't quite right, but it's getting close there. So there it is. It says a new leaf, and I'm satisfied with that at the moment. And then I look on my sheet and there is a hashtag, and I decide to put it on there. I don't often use my symbols or my numbers, so if I find a place where I think it looks great, then I put it on there. And that's, in this particular case, it was kind of about a new habit, and I don't know, for some reason that seemed like it was a hashtag something. And I did take that photo and then post it to Facebook for sure. I don't think I Instagram this one, but definitely Facebook. Excuse me. Anyway, so the hashtag seemed appropriate. So those pink enamel dots are from Eyelet Outlet. They're just called enamel dots. I bought them at Scrapbook Expo a couple of weeks ago. They had the Eyelet Outlet spot had quite a few different colors of enamel dots, and I stocked up on them because they were fairly inexpensive. I think they were like $2.99 for that card full there. Then I go and I grab these orange enamel dots. They're from the Simple Stories You Are Here collection, the enamel dots. And I'm going to add those in on the bottom right side and on the top left. So I've got the pink going diagonally across from each other, and the orange going diagonally across from each other. And since the pink and the orange are the two main colors other than the background paper in this layout, it's just appropriate that I would do that they go across from each other like that, and that I use those two colors. And that, again, I'm breaking those enamel dots out of the grid a little bit, putting a couple of them off the edge. All right, I just finished my journaling. There will be a still shot and a couple of detail shots. Hope you're all well, and I will be back with another layout again soon. Bye.